Hello, good evening and welcome to ITV News. This is Friday night's calendar.
Yes, hello, good evening. Here are tonight's main stories.
Sparks flying, the battle for 1,500 steel jobs hots up after the government takes control of two troubled plants in South Yorkshire.
They had false promises for the last 2 or 3 years, and now hopefully with government backing us, seeing steel coming through these doors again will be a great thing for everybody that's involved in steel making.
I don't want to rule anything out at this stage. It's most important that we keep workers in work, that they get paid properly.
Music to their ears. It's Friday night and the party's getting started at Leeds Festival.
It's the North's biggest festival, gearing up for tonight's headliner, American rapper Travis Scott.
She would often turn up to a match and would hear the opponents almost giggling that Keith had a girl playing. Ellie used that and she ran circles around them.
From beating the boys to best on the planet, rugby's biggest superstar Ellie Kildoon eyes World Cup glory.
I'm a very proud Yorkshire woman. My mum and dad are still very proud Yorkshire men and women as well, and I'm always very much connected to my roots.
Plus, it's happy birthday to a real hero. D-Day veteran Ken Cook celebrates his 100th.
And lots of positives in the forecast for the long weekend. I'll have all the detail for the next couple of days a little later on.
But first tonight, nothing is off the table when it comes to the future of the UK's third largest steelworks. And that's according to the Mayor of South Yorkshire. Speciality Steels UK, part of the troubled Liberty Steel Group, with plants in Rotherham and Sheffield, was described as hopelessly insolvent as it was placed into compulsory liquidation.
The government's agreed to cover the ongoing wages and costs of the plant while a buyer is sought. Liberty Steel called that decision irrational, saying it had imposed significant and unnecessary costs on UK taxpayers.
Well, Adam Fowler is live at one of the plants in Rotherham Forest this evening. And Adam, how have the workers been responding today?
Well, they've just found out in the last hour or so that they've actually been paid, so they're quite pleased about that. But also, they've broadly welcomed this decision, and I think that's because this situation has been at a standstill for so long. Here at Rotherham and 12 miles away at Stocksbridge, between those two plants, there's just shy of 1,500 workers. And yet, this plant hasn't really been producing much steel for the last 12 months. That's because of a lack of funds to buy vital materials, and also a lot of staff being on furlough on 85% of their salaries for that time. Now the government's taking control and it's going to seek a buyer. I've been gauging reaction in Stocksbridge today.
The Liberty Steel plant at Stocksbridge was a hive of activity today, but not with workers making steel. Instead, it was those reacting to the news that the government would now be in control of the company while a buyer is sought.
We'd had false promises for the last 2 or 3 years, saying that we're going to get back into markets that we've not been into. We've had people that's been on furlough since COVID, and it's as future's always been uncertain, and now hopefully with government backing us, seeing steel coming through these doors again will be a great thing for everybody that's involved in steel making.
A stone's throw away from the plant is Samuel's Kitchen, a regular haunt for hungry steel workers. Owner Tracy knows all too well the plant's importance.
Oh, it's the beating heart of the community. Although not as much as what it used to be, it's been quite quiet for a while with the situation that it's been going through.
Even this small business is one of the creditors Speciality Steels owes money to.
Still an uncertainty on whether people will get paid, just like the employees with their pensions, but hopefully we've got a better choice now than what it would have possibly been.
Jim's son works at Liberty Steel and he's had to contend with job insecurity while the future of the company has hung in the balance.
It's too early to retire, isn't it? It's at 50. So he says, if I've got to, look for another job, which I will do, he's a good worker, but how many jobs is there now?
It's caused a massive amount of uncertainty. It's affected people's mental health and well-being. I think getting back to some sort of normality or starting to see things moving in the right direction is only a positive. And I think if you've been on 85%, going back to of your wages, going back to 100% is a big deal, especially in a cost of living crisis. So I think that needs to happen, and that will just instill a bit more stability to the business.
This is the second time this year that the government has intervened in the steel industry after taking temporary control of British Steel's Scunthorpe plant in April. If a buyer can't be found, what are the chances of the company being nationalised?
I don't know. I don't want to rule anything out at this stage. It's most important that we keep workers in work, that they get paid properly, that we solve some of the issues that they've got with pensions at this moment in time. We then want the government to look at all the options that are on the table. I think the best option for it is a private buyer who can take it forward, invest in it long term. But at this stage, I think the government should keep all the options on the table.
A quick look at the railway line that used to transport steel from Stocksbridge shows how times have changed. But tonight, fresh hope that a new buyer and government control might get things back on track.
And back to Adam now. And Adam, what has Liberty Steel had to say today?
Well, the Chief Transformation Officer, Geoffrey Cable, has described this liquidation as irrational. He says it would impose prolonged uncertainty and significant costs on the UK taxpayer, despite a commercial solution, he says, being available. He says the Gupta Family Group Alliance will continue to bid for the business in collaboration with debt and equity partners. Well, I'm joined now by Chris Williamson from the Community Union. Chris, he says it's irrational. What do you say?
I think it brings closure on the Gupta saga because we've had so much uncertainty over the last 3-4 years since the COVID and the Greensill collapse. Things had to alter. We couldn't carry on not producing steel at Rotherham and Stocksbridge. It was ridiculous. So hopefully this is a new dawn for speciality steels.
And what you want now from the government, as well as this support, is a strategy, isn't it?
Yeah, so we need action on energy pricing, on procurement and on illicit dumping of steel from foreign shores.
Yeah, OK, but overall tonight, a sense of optimism, and it's an ongoing story. It's changing very slowly, but it is changing, and that's the main takeaway for workers here in Rotherham tonight.
Yes, indeed, Adam Fowler, thank you. And of course, we will keep people up to date with any developments.
Now, more than 70,000 people will be flocking to Bramham Park this weekend for Leeds Festival, many of them fresh off the back of their GCSE and A-level results.
Well, the North's largest music event attracts some of the biggest names in the industry, with American rapper Travis Scott headlining tonight. Well, our reporter Amelia Beckett is there for us live tonight now. And Amelia, what are people looking forward to the most, do you think?
Well, Ian, lots of things. I mean, you can probably see behind me people tonight enjoying a drink and some food, gearing up to that headliner, Travis Scott, as you say. But this is a festival with huge variation, and walking around, chatting to people today, it's that variation which I think keeps bringing people back year after year. It is the North's biggest festival, sending punters into a spin. For some, it's a yearly occasion. For others, their first time here. So your first time at a festival?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. What are your thoughts so far?
It's pretty good. I'm loving it. It's the first time in our arena. We didn't go yesterday, but it's really fun.
And how are you finding the camping?
Bit hard, but it's fine. We can manage.
Worth it for
the shows. Yeah.
Oh, like we came last year and we never camped, and we came for certain artists, and then we were like, want to camp this year just because it was this. I don't know. I just had a good vibe about it, so we were like, we'll come next year and we'll go camping the whole weekend. So
it was a struggle to get the tent up, though.
Yeah, it took us about 2 hours. We had about 10 helpers to try and get us up. But
I only actually got my ticket yesterday night.
Oh really?
He forced me to buy one, so I bought it last night and now I'm here. So
last minute decision.
No, not last minute. We had zero money in the bank last night. We finessed like £300 and now we're both here.
I'm the highest in the room.
For tonight's headliner, Travis Scott, this is his only European festival this year, and for many, the main attraction.
We just come to see Travis Scott.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I'm surprised that he's actually come here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know, I didn't think he'd come down to Leeds from America, but yeah, can't wait.
And for those who rely on sign language to enjoy the festival, this year interpreters are covering a record 26 acts. How do you go about interpreting live music?
So the interpreters, it's quite amazing because they're having to translate the emotions and to visualise the aspect of the song itself, the customers. So effectively they're also performing as well. So the deaf customers, not only that they be able to know what the song is about, but they get the essence and the emotions of the song, and it's amazing to see that in action at Leeds this year.
So the start of another big weekend in Leeds, which will hopefully leave everyone here with a smile. Well, tomorrow night it's the turn of Irish singer Hosier to headline, and on Sunday it's Sheffield band Bring Me the Horizon. But chatting to people today, I think it's Chapel Rowan tomorrow, which seems to be the big draw. She's been hitting up the European festivals this summer, and tomorrow it'll be time for her to get a very Leeds welcome.
Oh, thanks very much indeed, Amelia. Amelia Beckett there, live at Bramham Park. We'll let her go and join in all the fun. Now, thanks for being with us. You're watching Friday Night's Calendar with Sally Simpson and Ian White. And still to come on the programme tonight.
I'm live outside York's Community Stadium, which will play host to 6 games at the Women's Rugby World Cup, starting this weekend.
And for anyone with outdoor plans over the long bank holiday weekend, it doesn't look like the weather is going to spoil things too much at all. All the detail a little later on.
More of the day's news now, and a former West Yorkshire police officer has been found guilty of misconduct in public office after forming a sexual relationship with a female victim of crime. Detective Constable Wazim Bashir, seen here at an earlier hearing, was found to have abused his position for a sexual purpose following an investigation. Bashir retired from the force in June. He's due to be sentenced next week.
A man has been jailed for 25 years for the attempted murder of another man at a care home in Bradford, leaving him unable to walk or communicate properly. Graham Dowling, who's 36 and was a resident at Burger Court Care Home, entered Kevin Ryan's room in the early hours of the 1st of December last year and attacked him. Mr. Ryan suffered broken ribs and a fractured skull.
Now, while families across the region have been out and about enjoying themselves this summer, parents of children with disabilities say a lack of facilities can get in the way of them having a good time.
So-called changing places are far more than just accessible toilets. They're much bigger and have adult-sized changing benches and hoists for those with severe disabilities.
There are around 85 of them in our region, but families say they could do with a lot more, as Ulani Seaman has been finding out.
Oliver from Barnsley has cerebral palsy. His mum Leanne has 4 children and says finding suitable days out for the whole family is a challenge, as there aren't enough changing places toilets in the area.
We have to think about the length of the day out. Is it somewhere we can go at all? Oliver's ended up staying with grandparents so that we can take the other children to places that they've specifically asked to go, but that isn't somewhere that would be suitable for Oliver. And also the places that they are putting in the changing places toilets, they are nearby to some attractions and some facilities, but as a family you don't want to have to leave where you are to go a mile down the road to have to change.
Ben Campbell runs a company that installs these vital toilets. He showed us around one.
A changing places toilet is very much bigger, about 4 times the size of an accessible WC. What we often forget is that a disabled individual is very often part of a family unit. So they have family carers, but they have brothers, sisters, mother, father, other family members who help them in their care, particularly in summer holidays when they're not being looked after at school. So having the ability to bring someone into a changing places facility means the whole family can come to a venue. It's transformational.
5 years ago, it became a legal requirement for all new public buildings in England to have changing places. From this, around 150 have been installed each year. But there are calls from mum campaigners for them to be installed in existing buildings too.
It would be great if it became law that existing public spaces over a certain size or a certain footfall have to install them. I think that would be extremely helpful. I think also for a lot of attractions, sort of especially the smaller ones, smaller businesses, that kind of thing, you know, these aren't extremely cheap facilities to install. So if more public funding could be made available for people to apply for, I think that would be absolutely amazing.
The government says it knows how crucial accessible toilets are in community spaces, and local authorities are best placed to decide on local needs.
It means that we can be like every other family, that we would be able to think we can go on a day trip, we don't have to sit looking at maps and routes and figuring out if Oliver needs to be changed, and that we're not having to look to have to leave him behind, or that the planning that goes into it is such hard work, and it's emotional hard work as well, so it would take away those burdens.
Those behind Changing Places have been campaigning for 2 decades and say they'll carry on until all families have the freedom of equal access. Yolani Seaman, ITV News.
OK, time for some sport now, and the Women's Rugby World Cup gets underway this evening with England taking on the USA in Sunderland.
Yes, the tournament is being played here on our shores with 6 games taking place at York's Community Stadium, which is where Chris Dawkes is live for us this evening. Hello, Chris. What have we got to look forward to then?
Well, Ian, lots, as you say, half a dozen games being played here at the Community Stadium in York. The first one tomorrow sees Canada take on Fiji, and then on Sunday it's the current holders of the World Cup, New Zealand. They play Spain. Now, the Spanish are currently inside this stadium having a little training session. We got a few shots of them just a few moments ago, and they've got a big job on their hands against the Kiwis on Sunday. New Zealand beat England in the final 3 years ago, but since then, the Red Roses, well, they've gone 27 games and more than 1,000 days without defeat. And there are 6 players from right here in Yorkshire in that England squad. They are, from left to right, Zoe Allcroft from Scarborough, Morwenna Talling from right here in York, Castleford's Abby Burton, and then on the bottom row, Leeds-born Maddie Fuanati, Tatiana Hurd from Rydale, and Ellie Kildunn from Keighley. Now, last year, Ellie was named the world's best player. Quite an achievement for a girl who began playing back at Keighley Rugby Club when she was just 7 years old. There's no mistaking Ellie Kildunn, whether for her try-scoring exploits on the rugby field or for her mass of curly blonde hair. Ellie stands out.
Ellie Kildunn scores all tries.
Yeah, it feels strange because I'm just a girl from Yorkshire who's playing rugby. I'm nothing, special.
Many disagree. Last year, Ellie was voted the world's best female rugby player. Not bad for a girl from Keighley.
I'm a very proud Yorkshire woman. My mum and dad are still very proud Yorkshire men and women as well, and I'm always very much connected to my roots.
Before blossoming into a red rose, those roots were planted here at Keighley Rugby Club.
She would often turn up to a match and would hear the opponents almost giggling that Keighley had a girl playing. Ellie used that and she ran circles around them. What happened as a result was the next time they met each other, the boys would be heard to be saying, "Oh no, Ellie's here again."
Nigel and Ellie's mum Alison spent most weekends watching her play. An actual sportswoman, Ellie played football as well as both rugby codes, but it was in Union where she excelled. Ellie moved to Gloucester at 16 to chase her dream, and the following year made her England debut.
For Ellie to pull on that jersey with the red rose on the chest, tears were running down my cheeks. I do tend to cry at anything, but that made me sob. It really did.
That was 8 years ago. Now Ellie is aspiring to win the World Cup and inspiring those watching on.
She's lovely and she's like one of the nicest people you could ever meet, and she's so inspirational. It just makes us girls think at Keighley like maybe we have a chance to maybe get to where she is now, like playing for England and stuff.
How do you think England are going to get on at this World Cup?
I think they're going to do really well because they did good in the Six Nations. So I think they're going to do really good in the World Cup.
There is difficulties that young girls go through coming into rugby. We want to make that easier for them, being role models, being inspirations that they can look up to show what it takes to be a dedicated, strong woman, and we're doing that with confidence and with pride.
England are surely still hurting, but that was then. This is now.
England begin their bid for World Cup glory tonight. You get the feeling any success might rest on the hair-raising exploits of one of Yorkshire's very own Red Roses.
Yeah, fingers crossed for Ellie and all our Yorkshire-born players at the World Cup. Switching to Rugby League, Chris, and a great result for the Leeds Rhinos last night.
Yeah, Sally, the Rhinos did their chances of finishing in Super League's top two no harm whatsoever with a wonderful performance against league leaders Hull KR, and they may well have unearthed the next star from their conveyor belt of talent. 18-year-old Presley Cassell scored his second try in consecutive games in a 28 points to 6 win. And just before I go, some football transfer news for you now, and Sheffield United have bolstered their defensive ranks with the signings of York-born international Ben Godfrey from Italian side Atalanta and Niels Zetterstrom from Swedish side Malmo, whereas Sheffield Wednesday have been granted permission to sign goalkeeper Ethan Horvath on an emergency loan after an injury to Pierce Charles. And that is all your sport here from York. It's going to be an exciting weekend.
Can't wait, Chris. Thanks very much indeed. Now, as celebrations go, they don't come much bigger than a 100th birthday, do they? And one of our region's Second World War veterans has been marking the milestone in style.
Ken Cook, who's from York, took part in the D-Day landings. And this afternoon, friends and family gathered at the Green Howards Museum in Richmond to honour him. Helen Ford was among them.
From one generation to another, centenarian Ken Cook was guest of honour at the Green Howards Regimental Museum in Richmond this afternoon. He's one of a dwindling band of World War II veterans, and those behind his 100th birthday gathering were determined to mark this, the latest of many milestones.
As I said at my birthday party, I'm living a dream. That's all I can put it down to. To me, it's all a dream. All the things that's been happening to me, I've met royalty, presidents, and all the rest of it. It's just a dream. I mean, I was a miner's son.
Ken's life has been shaped by experiences which took place when he was little more than a child. With the Second World War raging, he joined the Green Howards and, at the age of 18, took part in the D-Day landings on the beaches of Normandy. This has been a memorable year for Ken. In May, he travelled to Normandy to play a leading role in commemorating 80 years since VE Day. And earlier this month, he was back in the spotlight, joining events to mark VJ Day and the end of the Second World War. In fact, Ken's birthday was earlier this month, but he's been so busy. Today was the first opportunity to host him.
We deal in historic treasures, and Ken is a living, breathing historic treasure and a link to one of the most iconic moments in European history of the last, in his case, 100 years, and we couldn't not mark that occasion.
It's inspirational, to be honest, because we learnt about all of our regimental history and whatnot, and to meet somebody who's actually been there and experienced that's really inspirational.
Given your long life, how often do you think about your wartime comrades who sadly died at such a young age?
Sometimes one or two little flashbacks, but gradually they're going away. Well, you know, keeping me busy, it helps me to get rid of some of those demons. We won't get rid of all of them, but we'll get rid of some of them.
Few people alive today can share Ken Cook's wartime experiences, but all can join in wishing him health and happiness in the future. Helen Ford, ITV News, Richmond.
Ah, yes, happy birthday to Ken. And Kerry's with us now.
Yeah, the weekend is almost upon us. I do a lot of talking about weather, as you know, it's my job.
Well, we all do.
But I do more talking about weather when it's a bank holiday weekend. And the Met Office, we were just discussing this before we came on, have released findings from a survey about how many hours we actually talk about the weather. And we're a bit shocked, aren't we?
Well, I thought it was all anybody ever talked about. It's our favourite topic of conversation as Brits,
So
isn't
in
it?
full hours, apparently, according to the survey, it's 48, 2 days.
A year.
I think it's so much more than that.
48 hours a year, it must be more than that.
It's rubbish.
Feels like it.
Anyway, let's talk about the weather. This has been the cloud cover today. I know lots of people have been disappointed with the amount of cloud we've had over the last few days, but certainly from around 2 or 3 o'clock, pushing in sort of north of the Humber, we've seen some nice sunny spells. So good news for Bramham Park, where it was just short of 21 Celsius there today. So in the sunny spells, we had the best of the temperatures. Despite the cloud, you've still been getting out and about. This is Greg and Jill from Cottingham. They travelled to Scarborough. Yeah, slightly cloudy skies, but it was dry. It was warm despite the fairly cloudy conditions. And check out this, paragliders perfectly positioned above Emily Moor. A big thank you to Sandy Nicholson of Home Moss. And you've been sending in your home harvest as well. I absolutely love it with the weather that we've had over the past week, certainly last week. This is Mandy Allen's capture. Tomatoes, they always taste better, don't they, when they're at home.
Homegrown.
And these ones, sloe berries are out. Blue and green should never be seen. Absolutely not when it looks like this. So the weekend, it's still looking good. Here's the detail.
A clear start makes way for a day of ancient discoveries. TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Yes, we've been struggling with cloud amounts over the last few days. Sunshine at a premium and definitely feeling a little bit cooler than we've been used to for most of the summer so far. But as we head into the long weekend, it's an improving story. A little bit cloudy tomorrow, but with brighter breaks developing through Sunday, and we get the good combination of both sunshine and warmth by the time we reach Monday. So we've had that north to northwesterly feed during the course of today, but high pressure builds as we head through into Saturday and Sunday, and by Monday we start importing the warmer air from the south, highs comfortably in the mid-20s. So for this evening and overnight tonight, starting off with some clear spells around for the evening, but certainly after midnight the cloud will thicken, maybe some light rain and drizzle out of any thicker cloud, mostly dry and not quite as chilly with the cloud cover as it was last night, where we got lows of around 7 Celsius in rural spots. So as we head into tomorrow, there is sun times for Saturday, 5:58 and 8:19. Bit of a cloudy, damp start tomorrow, and I think for Saturday it will be disappointingly cloudy for some, although mostly dry. We are starting to import the southerly, but it's still average temperatures at best. So I think with a bit more cloud around, it will feel a little bit cooler than we'd like, and highs out towards the coast with gentle sea breezes, mid to high teens. As we head through into Sunday, though, an improving story. Definitely a few more holes in the cloud, mostly dry and temperatures on the up. Inland to 22, 23. Comfortably mid-20s by the time we reach Monday, maybe a few degrees higher. Make the most of Monday if you can.
TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Oh, that Bank Holiday Monday forecast getting better and better,
Yeah,
isn't it?
it is. Absolutely.
Great news for anyone heading down to Bramham, of course.
Absolutely. Shall we have another look as we say goodnight? Have a great bank holiday weekend. If you're going to the festival, have a great time. And Sally's back with the late news.
I'll see you later. Bye-bye from us.
Good night.
Take care.